AITA for not attending with my partner. To take his son to a birthday party. My 37 female husband, 36 male. Has a son from a previous relationship and has 50/50 custody. Today he took his son to a birthday party of another boy in his class. My husband wanted both of us to go. But I did not think this required to people to take him and wait whilst there. My husband seemed to think most people go with their partners, which I did not think would be the case. He is saying most people are there with their partners now. And he feels awkward by himself. I offered to come and be with him, but he declined. He is upset with me for not initially agreeing to come. Do most people go to partners to these things? I'm in the UK. I don't have kids, so no experience, but just assumed this would be a one-parent job. And parents would take it turns? I have done other chores in place of going to the party, laundry, and exercise. What you guys think and advise for OP's situation? And what would you do if you're on her place? What's your opinion or advice for her? Let me know on the comment. Now here's are the top 3 comments from our community. And what are their own opinion for OP? Our first comment is from Harry and Olympia 123. I'm in the UK. It's a one-person job. I have attended parties with children who have both parents, but it's a rarity unless it's a family member. In fact, at this house, we fight to be not it when it comes to attending parties. NTA. Next comment is from Bitty Bitty B. NTA. Is it possible dad has a little bit of social anxiety and didn't want to be there alone? Having to talk with other parents that he may not know very well? That's not your problem. That is definitely something a grown adult will have to handle on their own. A lot of us go to therapy or read books to learn better social skills. Since social anxiety is something a lot of us struggle with, there are books you can read and therapists who can talk to, who can help you navigate the challenges of social anxiety. And if that's his issue, it's something he will have to do like the rest of us. If he wanted you there to parent the child instead of him, too bad. He's a dad. He can handle being a dad for an afternoon at a party on his own. There's really no need for two people to be there. So whatever his other reason is, whether it's social anxiety, or he wants you to do the parenting instead of him, whatever it is, he needs to focus on developing those skills so he doesn't need your assistance. And lastly, from Key South, NTA. I've never seen both parents take a kid to a birthday party. Unless all the parents are friends as well, and they are going to gang put together. If this is just a random classmate, there is no need for both parents to go. And here's our next story. AITA for not seeing my family for Christmas. I, 28 male, have a rocky history with my dad, 64, and my mom, 63. We tried therapy, but it only lasted for 10 sessions before it became apparent that my dad was unwilling to take ownership of how he had hurt me. He would invalidate me by telling me that my pain was caused by my own perceptions and misunderstandings. I was basically hurting myself, is what he said. I put a no-contact boundary in place for 6 months. 6 months have passed, and he respected the space. We talked on the phone for the first time. And I shared that, if I was going to spend time with him again, I had a couple of ground rules. I didn't want to discuss heavy therapy-related topics. I wanted to be able to leave if it didn't feel right. They both agreed to my boundaries. The next day, my dad texted me this. The last 6 months have been hard for us. And my biggest fear is that I misstep and hurt you again, which could drive another longer separation. I'm afraid to risk and put you, your sister, and your mom through another such period. To that end, all I currently ask is for you to assume positive intent and sincerity. I eventually will say or do something unintentionally that is received as hurtful. And I need your grace for me to be able to risk again. We are all learning and growing. Yet this is a process with bumps and unevenness. I told him that I wasn't sure what I can and can't promise and just wanted to take it day by day. And he never responded. Yesterday, I had coffee with my mom. She asked me what I meant by my reply to my dad's text. She told me that my dad was upset with my response because I wasn't able to promise him that I would perceive everything with positive intent. She told me that relationships are a two-way street, And he should be able to have needs as well. After I left, I didn't want to see him anymore. I sent this text. Hey guys. I'm realizing that I'm not ready to be together, and that this timing doesn't feel right to me. One of the boundaries I set was that I didn't want to discuss complicated therapy topics, and unfortunately, that boundary has been broken twice already. I'm worried about what this means for us if we were to get together. I think it's best to connect again in therapy. When the timing is right, January works for me. I was really looking forward to seeing you guys and having simple family time. So just know that I'm disappointed too. I'm not looking to have a further conversation about this at this time and would appreciate respect and support in this decision that I'm making. They both replied pretty quickly. Dad, congrats, your mom is crying in the other room. You can hurt me, fine, but don't wound her. Mom, this is all my fault. I've blown up Christmas and our time together. I never should have asked for clarification about the text. I tried to communicate that it was a timeout for just one piece of therapy clarification. I didn't even know how to respond, so I didn't. I don't know what to do. What you guys think and advise for OP's situation? And what would you do if you're on his shoes? What's your opinion or advice for him? Let me know on the comment. Now here's are the top 3 comments from our community. And what are their own opinion for OP? From Bordatham196 to NTA. Tough OP, but it's not your fault. This is guilt tripping. They upset you so it's your fault because they don't like being told they were at fault. It's like the bank robber complaining that he's been called a criminal. One last message, I'm sorry you feel like that. Because that's what they have been telling you. Next one from Sanguine Psychologist, NTA. They're guilt tripping you already, and it's great that you can see it. If they truly feel remorse and want to patch things up, they would give you time to process and agree to spend time in January. Instead, they're doing what all toxic parents do best. One is blaming you for hurting the other parent, with the other parent seemingly taking the blame on themselves. But not because they feel remorse, just to guilt you further, so you'll fall in line. Lastly is from Fragglerock 555. I'm leaning toward NTA just because I have my own version of this story going on. And so I am probably biased. If I have learned anything about relationships with parents, it is not your job as the child to teach your parent how to be respectful, non-abusive, appropriate, or a loving parenting figure towards you. It is up to them to figure that out and treat you properly. You have been generous by going to therapy with them and suggesting further sessions to work on the relationship. So I am assuming your dad has had ample opportunity to hear you out and empathize with your perspective. If he chooses to continue to cross your boundaries, then he needs to own that decision. He, as an adult, and a father, and a husband, should understand that his actions towards you will affect his wife. If he crosses a boundary and you back away, this will make you inadvertently back away from your mom too, because she is his wife, living with him, possibly taking his side for whatever reasons. etc. She is not neutral in this, and can't be. This is not your fault. It is so common for parents to lay blame on their kids for the damage that they themselves caused, so that they don't have to carry the heavy burden of being the one who did wrong. I wish I knew more of the history behind this dynamic you have with your dad. But I think you are doing your fair part of giving opportunity to reconnect with them in a safe space like therapy, and then listening to yourself when you sense discomfort or sign of red flags. Making the decision to skip Christmas this year may save your relationship for the long run. And here's our next story.